Once upon a time.
Into the Woods takes many fairy tales that we all grew up with, that we know very well. Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, and Rapunzel.
I always thought of the first act being about individual want, what each of them want, and the second act is the consequences of what they got and what they wanted and how it affected everybody else.
There's a baker and his wife who live in the village with all of these characters, and they are on a quest to have a child.
Then Act Two asks the question, what happens after Happily Ever After?
Happily Ever After is in your hands, not in fate's hands. You can do something about making an ending happy. And that's what they have to do, and they do.
And part of the happiness is they do it together, you know, not for themselves, but for each other.
Fiasco Theater is a group of classically trained actors who work together to create dynamic, joyful, actor-driven theater.
Into the Woods actually felt like not such a wild choice for us, given our history with Shakespeare. It's a play of tremendous scope. The story has all kinds of wild things happening in it. The characters care about things in a big, deep way. And it also has language that's tremendously complex, especially in the songs.
You know nothing of madness.
The way that Sondheim and Lapine talk about creating this show is very much, I think, in the spirit of how Fiasco works, which is incredibly collaborative and generative and generous.
They embody, you know, what's essential of theater in a way, and storytelling, and the fact that they can play more than one character, and they can change characters so simply. I think the minimalism of the production is what's such fun about it.
Not unlike the fairy tales themselves, which compel our imagination as kids, this production relies on the audience's imagination to help kind of fill in the gaps. So we turn objects into things, and we turn people into animals, and we turn ourselves into multiple characters. And that's the kind of theatrical imaginative leap that we think the show is all about.
The company attacks its material, removes any walls of artifice between them and the audience feels that they're in on it in some way. It's in that way, it's very intimate.
You'll see that the actors who are doing scenes and singing songs in the show are also supporting each other by playing instruments.
The minimalism of it brought the writing more to the foreground in a way than my own productions, which were rather elaborate. What was interesting is the simplicity of it really also makes an audience listen more, which you don't do as much when you fill out the visual picture.
And that's true of the music too. Having that single piano accompanied with a couple of little moments for other instruments makes the music naked and immediate. And again, taking the color out, so to speak, meaning the orchestral colors, gives it a kind of a life of its own.
To go to the theater and see something that's so minimal, where magic can be made with just a simple prop or a slight costume change is thrilling in a whole other way for an audience.